All right, guys, we have talked at length about the possibility of a Giannis trade this offseason for the Cavaliers and the Cavs' reluctance to put Evan Mobley on the trading block. They're doing something.
What is going on?
Upstairs.
I could hear that.
Sounds like they're trying to get through the ceiling.
I
But
hear,
not working.
yeah, it sounds like they're about to. If anyone starts seeing stuff fall, either on me or on these guys, someone's.
By the way, speaking of which,
hammering upstairs.
Quick sidebar, real quick. I saw the movie Disclosure Day this weekend. Anybody else see it?
No.
Don't spoil anything. I want to go.
I won't spoil it.
It's the
new Spielberg
Is it like
movie.
the
Quick, thumbs up or thumbs down?
Encounters of a,
I don't want to spoil anything. I'll just say I thought it was very, very good.
Good? Okay.
Very, very good. Some people might complain it's a little slow in the beginning. Trust me, it's worth it.
What does that have to do with the Cavs trade or the hammering going on
It
upstairs?
sounded like, just go see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Back to where we started.
Yeah.
We have talked at length about a Giannis possibility and the Cavs' reluctance to add Evan Mobley to a Giannis deal without confirmation from Giannis he'd sign a long-term extension.
Yes.
The most recent rumors on the Giannis front are that Miami and Boston are the two teams most interested in Giannis. Giannis has expressed interest in both Boston and Miami. However, in a potential Boston deal with Milwaukee, the Celtics don't have a ton of young assets and or draft capital to make that work for what they want. So now a third team is being dragged into the equation. In a scenario...
Now let me ask you, did you make this scenario up or has this been rumored by somebody in the league or whatever?
More making it up, but they're looking for a third trade partner.
Okay.
The Cavs, in theory, on paper, fit this. I'm not sure that gets Milwaukee the young players and draft capital they want in this situation. But if there were a scenario where Milwaukee wants Mobley, the Celtics want Giannis, they can't keep Giannis, Tatum, and Brown together. Brown could be redirected to Cleveland as part of a three-team deal. The money all works up. You have to add a couple other contracts in there, but it is not an outrageous, impossible situation to actually accomplish with the second apron restrictions and all the above. So if we're going to strip the Giannis part out of this, the Cavaliers could swap Mobley for Jaylen Brown.
Is it realistic?
Realistic enough to have the conversation.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean, it's a no-brainer. Who the hell would turn that down?
Nobody.
Jason, would you?
No, that is much more appeal to me.
I'd rather have
than 1
Jaylen
year.
Brown than Giannis.
This has much more appeal to me than 1 year of Giannis. I'm not sure. I think we're a little bit in fantasy land right now. But
Yeah, I think Mike's out of his mind.
But whatever. Like, it's June.
But it's not that far. Like,
But in this trade scenario,
unlikely, but not
But why
that
would
far
Boston
out
do that?
in this trade scenario, that's
because
the
Boston
thing.
wants Giannis.
What's that?
I would rather a JB than Giannis if I'm Boston. No, but I'm just saying, why would
Boston's legitimately pursuing Giannis.
But if
They are
Boston
legitimately going for Giannis.
Yes, Boston is is not a better team if they get Giannis.
Yeah, why would they trade Jaylen Brown to get Giannis? That doesn't make them better.
At the end of the season, Brad Stevens came out and said, we cannot play the style of basketball that we've played the last 2 seasons to try and win. There's also some tension between Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. Jaylen Brown said this year, without Jason Tatum, this was the most fun season I've ever had in my career. His career has ended with an NBA championship. Those two both want to be the alpha.
Yeah.
And there's some it's speculation, but there's some budding drama behind the scenes that those two aren't going to coexist.
They've been talking about breaking that up for years.
I'm not buying it, Mike, but
I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying this is not.
There's nobody. No, who would turn that down? Why would the Cavs ever say no to that?
Why would the Cavs say no to that?
It seems too
Jaylen
easy.
Brown's a much better player than Evan Mobley.
Yeah, it's a more wonky fit, but he's a better player for sure.
Jaylen Brown would be the best player on the Cavs.
You actually,
he would be.
Come on, Jaylen Brown would be the best player.
Mr. Basketball here.
I just said
You would actually, you actually would. I mean, makes more sense. You actually, if you had Harden, Mitchell, and Jaylen Brown, I mean, and you don't have to give up Jared Allen, or is that it?
I mean, Mobley's a pretty big piece to give up. But
Mobley's.
I mean,
wouldn't they have to give up something else though to make the money work?
Minimowski.
Do you want to live in reality? We just talking the things here. Yes, you're
it's
giving
a
up something
no-brainer.
else.
You get a top 10 player in the league with 3 years left on his contract, and he's not old. I mean, how old is Jaylen Brown? 27, 28?
He's like 28.
How many years?
Jaylen Brown.
He was in the league before Tatum.
but he was young. I mean,
Jaylen Brown's 29, turns 30 this season.
okay, so he's a little older than I thought, but still, he's not old. He's got 3 good years left.
Yeah, I
he
mean,
just had his best season.
Yeah.
No, I don't mean to be arguing.
Yes.
You're not disagreeing.
Yeah, I don't think he's as young as people might think that he is.
Yeah, no,
but
you're right. He's a little older than I thought.
I think I'm going to get in trouble. I think Donovan is closer to the cliff than Jaylen Brown is,
100%.
and they're about the same age.
And they're also tight, by the way. They're boys, Don and Jaylen.
I mean, what if I could get I would rather get Jaylen of the guys you could possibly get that like.
You'd rather have Jaylen than Giannis?
I think I would.
Of course, at this point, Giannis has been so injury prone.
I'm looking at the contract.
I think we all agree that Giannis, if he's totally healthy, is still a better player than Jaylen Brown.
But he's been injured for 3-4 years.
Brown's close enough that I'd rather have him because he's younger and there's 3 years of control.
I'm looking at the contracts. The contracts put it over the top.
Right,
for me.
yes.
I'd rather have 3 years of Jaylen than 1 year of Giannis.
Yes.
But Giannis is better than Jaylen Brown. Like, let's not.
Today,
right, but he's always hurt, though, Giannis.
Right, so the contract,
You
he's
take
hurt.
a chance if there's no other options.
The
But
contract hurt. He could walk after 1 year, even if you win with him.
Right.
It's just a better long-term look. You're better, and then plus it's a wing. Like now, we've been talking about wings. We got a wing defender. We got somebody. Think about it. If you had Jaylen Brown, I'd rather have Jaylen Brown on Brunson as he was going crazy for.
That's right.
When you have 30.
That's right. I with Jaylen Brown, you got 3 shots at winning a title. With Giannis, you got 1. You hope for more.
I'm not once again, there's no disagreement anywhere here.
Yeah.
Yes, playing
we all acknowledge that Giannis is better than Jaylen Brown when healthy, but Giannis is more injury prone. Giannis has less years under control, and Giannis is old.
Let me ask this, because I'm always angling in LeBron. I need an angle for it. Is LeBron more likely to be interested in doing what he needs to do and coming to Cleveland if they have already upgraded the roster one time, or does that not play a role in anything? It's strictly logistics in LA and money.
No, the roster absolutely plays a role. Like, he's not going to go to a team that's not any good.
Is he going to consider a team that he's never played for?
Yeah.
I think he's going to Golden State.
You think so? He wants to play with Steph? But they're not going to win with him.
I think he's going to Golden State.
He can't go to the Knicks now. He always had a thing for Madison Square Garden.
I don't think he ever wanted to go.
He's never.
Okay. He always seemed to be obsessed with Madison Square Garden.
He doesn't like the Dolan.
He just likes playing there.
He says all the right things.
A lot of.
He's had opportunities to go to New York in the past if he wanted to go.
So where do you think he might go? What are the options?
I think he stays in LA.
With the Lakers?
Yeah.
Huh.
I think because I think they'll figure it out, and I think that's where he stays. I agree with Mike. I think
he's not going to retire because he's going to want that farewell tour, right?
I mean, I would not take anything off the table at this point. I don't think he's going to retire. No, I think he's going to play again. Every indication has been that he's going to continue to play, but until he says that, you don't know.
And he's got to keep his son in the league.
That's funny.
If I have if you give me a top 3, I would say the Lakers, the Warriors, or the Cavs would be my top 3. But I don't.
He's going to want to go to the Warriors, Mike. They're not very good.
No,
he likes to play. He's said it publicly.
He wants to play with Steph.
He has for years.
Him, Draymond, Steph. He loves Steve Kerr.
He has for years talked about how much he admires the Warriors as an organization and the way that they run things, the way that they operate. It's a first-class organization.
It could be Kerr's last year,
he
maybe.
Loves everything that they do.
Yeah.
There was a time where the idea of LeBron playing on the Warriors was like that's impossible. But enough time has passed.
He likes Draymond, even though Draymond's a big D-bag?
Oh, yeah. They're cool.
Draymond does a podcast on his network.
Yeah, they're fine.
Here's the thing I'm worried about McNuggets is the longer this stuff hangs out, I don't know anything behind the scenes, but the most dangerous thing that can be going on right now is the Cavs rationalizing. The season is over. You get in the summer, people go their own ways. And then by the time you're by the middle of June, you start thinking, well, maybe it wasn't that bad.
Right.
Nah.
Maybe the Knicks were really that good.
Nah.
When is the draft? Remind me.
A week from today.
Oh. And then free agency's after that.
Yeah, it's July 2nd, July 1st.
So,
by the way, the dumbest thing in the NBA is the fact that they make trades, but they pretend the guys on
it can't
on
be
the
announced
team.
until the new league year
It's
begins.
so dumb. That makes no sense.
Yeah.
So
stupid flaw. in the NBA.
So let me foreshadow this. So if the Cavs take a pick with this year's pick, that means they're not changing the roster.
Oh no, that doesn't mean that at all.
That doesn't mean no.
Well,
Why are you saying that?
Is this year's pick pivotal in moving to get trades? Would they? Is this because I remember before, like we talked about the pick when LeBron was here, when it was the 8th pick and it was the Nets pick, and they ended up taking Colin Sexton.
Everything. They had the 29th pick, G. That doesn't have. Like, you're not trading the 29th pick for a player.
Okay, so it's really Minimowski then.
Yeah, I mean, that pick isn't going to make or break any sort of trade negotiation that they have. It might be, like, who was it? Who's the kid from Kansas that they took that they threw into the
Abaji?
Yeah. So it could be like
I thought they couldn't trade this year's pick
after the selection.
Oh, I see.
Got you. Yep.
So you can take it for another team.
Yeah, they Wiggins got traded like that, didn't he?
Well, they planned on keeping. Well,
he got traded for Kevin Love.
He was part of the Kevin Love trade. Yeah. That was the draft was before LeBron came back.
Right.
So they took Wiggins to keep Wiggins. He was going to be part of this team. He went to summer league with them and everything. Yeah. LeBron comes back, everything changes. Yeah. Wiggins is out. Kevin's in.
Ya.
Yeah.
With the 29th pick, we're going to do some draft preview stuff tomorrow, by the way.
Can't wait to break down that 29th pick.
I'm doing a draft preview Cavs show at 5 o'clock today, so if you want some deeper dives into some of these guys.
This draft is deep, right?
Very deep.
It's an excellent draft.
Can you get a decent player at 29?
In the NBA today, you can find a decent player at 34, 46.
Jaylen Brunson was the 33rd pick.
60
undrafted.
Pick,
excuse me.
So was Jokic was second round, wasn't he?
Second round. Yeah. Draymond was second round.
You know what's so crazy? We at this point where any picks, unless it's a top 10 picks, you'd be like, where the Cavs are, you're just like, I mean, is he going to play tomorrow?
Well, here's the thing. With this 29th pick, it's a little primer for later in the week. This draft is crazy heavy on point guards, which the Cavaliers don't need, right? We can all agree they don't need a point guard per se. There's going to be 2 or 3 guards who fall to the end of the first round just due to the fact that there is an oversaturation at the position. So the Cavs could be looking at a player at 29 who may be ranked like 17th in the class, 18th in the class that fell for one reason or another, or all the guards go early and some of the wings and bigs that may be a more positional need for Cleveland is available later than you would have expected.
Do the Cavs have a second round pick, by the way?
No, they do not.
Why do you not see?
But Bull, Zuby is in play at 29.
What's that?
Your boy Zuby's in play at 29.
Oh, you think he is?
Oh, 100%.
I was thinking maybe the Cavs would draft him in the second round. I thought he was a second round pick.
In play at 29.
But he can't. He's not an outside shooter.
No, but he's.
But let me tell you something. If
energy
the Cavs
big,
draft my boy Zuby,
you're watching the regular season.
I'm in. Because he's one of my all-time favorite St. John's players. He's one of the few St. John's players since the Chris Mullin, Mark Jackson, Shelton Jones, Bill Wennington era that I actually know a lot about. Great human being, nice family. But from a basketball standpoint, nobody will outwork him. Nobody.
The Cavs need dudes like this.
And now, I'm not sure how he's one of these guys, excellent college player, but I don't know how he fits in the NBA because he's a post player that's not big enough in the NBA, I think.
He
moves pretty well laterally, though.
He's a great athlete.
Yeah.
Hey, man, this is Kenneth Reed.
And he'll make, he can shoot. He can shoot. He'll take a 3 here and there.
Here's my thing on Zuby.
Great teammates. His teammates love him.
The Cavs need winning basketball players.
Yeah.
And I don't think Zuby will ever be an all-star. I don't think he'll ever be a top 3-4 guy in a good team. I don't think he'll ever lead your team in scoring or rebounding. But he's a guy that makes winning plays, and the Cavs don't have enough guys who make winning plays. Another guy like Alex Caravan from UConn.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Just a guy
I've seen him play a bunch,
wins.
too.
He's lacks a little bit of athleticism, but he's 6'8".
He's
got a better shooter
have
than
done
Dean.
some battling over the years. Zuby, I think, could be a good 8th, 9th guy on a team.
Yeah. And at 29, and then, G, I want you to weigh in.
Yeah.
At 29, that's what you're drafting.
Yeah.
Right? You want guys to filter.
Contributors.
They need size. They need athleticism. They need a little bit of toughness and a little bit of grit and grind. And
good
that's why I think Zuby
a good passer for
a
a big guy, too.
G, what do you think?
I told you he looked like he played like Kenneth Reed. How tall is he? About 6'6"?
No, he's bigger than
No,
that.
he's 6'10".
He's
with
6'6".
long
He's
arms.
big.
He's a reason big.
Oh.
He's 6'10"? I think
Yeah.
he's like 6'9".
Wait till you get
I
to
guess
the
that's not a
comment.
big
Well, that's
difference.
a huge difference.
You're right.
I mean, that's kind of wild. Why is there no, like, in the NFL, people are always willing
He
to
measured
trade?
real quick. He measured 6'9.5", 240 at the combine.
See, I was
Okay.
right. 6'9".
6'9", pretty good.
6'9".
Why don't we see teams trade up for picks in basketball? In football, if
They
they're-
do a
They
little
do
bit.
it all the time.
That happens late in the first round.
Nah, I'm talking about early.
But it happens. We saw
it happens
Luka. They
all the
traded up
time.
for Luka.
It happens all the time.
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
It just doesn't get hyped as much as
Like
the NFL.
I remember the Trae Young Luka
Yeah,
trade,
right.
but they were like comparable. It was like a few picks.
I mean, the Sixers traded up to the number 1 pick for Markelle Fultz.
What did they give up?
3 and a future first. Jason Tatum was the 3rd pick.
that
So
was-
Well, no.
terrible trade.
What I'm saying is trading existing players under contract for picks. Like, say for instance,
it happens. Desmond Bain just got traded for 4 first-round picks.
nah,
Mikal
I'm
Bridges got
talking about
traded for 5 first-round picks.
Say for instance, like Giannis, right? Giannis is, I don't know, he wants to be traded.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Why, if Giannis is cold
Yeah.
and he's good, and there's a generational player,
Right, but all the
why
teams-
wouldn't you trade him?
Because
and
all the
just get him?
teams picking at the top stink. And Giannis by himself is not going to turn him around.
And
Yeah.
you have to make the money match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And by the way, they didn't the Thunder trade Paul George for $1 million high picks?
Yeah, SGA and
Yeah.
like 6 picks. Yeah, players get traded for picks all the time. G. I don't know
Yeah.
what you're talking about. Last name, real quick.
Yeah.
We're talking about guards who could slip in the draft. Steve, don't take it. I'll tell you when to take it. This kid's name is Ibuka Okori.
No idea. who it
Freshman
is.
point guard from Stanford. He is ranked anywhere from as high as 7th by the Ringer to like 35th by CBS and some other outlets. Crazy range. I got to do some more research where I know if I love this player or I can't stand this player.
Yeah.
I had an NBA coach call him decaf Trae Young to me. G. Bush, I'm going to play these highlights.
Oh, yeah, let me see these
Trae
highlights.
Young.
Play these highlights, Steve. Watch this dude, freshman at Stanford,
Nice handle.
was their only offense. Got him. He averaged 23 points per game on a Stanford team that stunk this year.
He looks tiny. How big is he?
6'1", long arms, pretty athletic. I don't know if he'll be there at 29. This is a game-winning shot. They were down 2, go up 1 with 3 seconds left. I can't tell if I love his game, can't stand his game. The Cavs don't need a 6'1" player by any means. They need size, but oh my God, that hesitation just absolutely.
He's got a pretty nasty handle.
It's filthy handles, and he literally ranges. The Ringer has him ranked as the 8th best prospect in the draft, and then other outlets, because he's kind of a one-trick pony, he's a scorer, have him as low as like mid-30s.
He doesn't pass?
He has to work on passing.
I mean, he's not really a fit
19
here,
years
though.
old.
It doesn't
Cavs
seem
need
like he's fit.
Cavs need playmakers though.
He's
This dude is a playmaker.
Is he
So
the
what-
new? Who was that point guard? Oh my God, I forgot his name. That the Cavs traded for the Kyrie trade.
Colin Sexton.
Oh, Isaiah Thomas?
Isaiah Thomas.
Isaiah.
Yeah.
He's bigger than that.
Yeah.
I like his game for at 29.
But does he fit the Cavs?
Man,
Cavs need playmakers.
If some people think he could be as high as 7, I doubt he's going to make it to 29.
I mean,
The latest ESPN mock draft had him going 28th to
All right.
Minnesota.
the Cavs can't even get the ball up court.
They can't.